not just for yourself, but for your community and what that means for our future. And I know some of you watching right now have felt this truth in your bones. So let's dive into the emotional heart of this story and uncover what it really means for us. Here's the core truth that Mary's story reveals. Dignity is not given, it's chosen. When Mary refused to kneel at that wedding, she wasn't waiting for someone to validate her worth. She wasn't asking for permission to be seen. She stood tall because she knew her value, even when the world tried to tell her otherwise. And that choice, to claim her dignity in a moment of shame, it's a power that runs through every black woman who's ever faced down disrespect and kept going. It's the power of our ancestors, who survived slavery, who marched through Jim Crow, who raised families in a world that told them they were nothing. And it's the power in us today, every time we choose to stand up for ourselves and our people. But here's what nobody tells you about that power. It's not loud, it's not flashy. It's quiet, steady, unyielding, like Mary's voice when she said, "I won't." And that quiet strength, it's what changes the world. Because when Mary stood, she didn't just save herself, she gave others permission to stand too. John Matthew stood when he walked away from that wedding. The staff at the veranda stood when they started sharing their own stories. And our community stood when they turned hope rising into a movement. That's the deeper truth here. One person's courage can crack open a space for everyone else to rise. And this is where it gets really emotional for me. Because when I think about Mary's story, I think about the times I've had to choose my dignity over comfort. I remember a professor in college who told me I was too outspoken for a black student, that I needed to tone it down if I wanted to succeed. I felt that sting, that pressure to shrink. But I thought about my grandmother, who cleaned houses for white families and still came home singing hymns. And I chose to keep speaking, to keep being me. That's what Mary did, and that's what so many of us do every day. We choose our dignity, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely. But wait, there's another layer here that's going to blow your mind. Mary's story isn't just about personal courage, it's about systemic change. When she refused to kneel, she exposed the cracks in a system that thrives on black labor but denies its black dignity. The Bennett family's wealth, the veranda's luxury, the entire wedding industry, it's all built on the backs of people like